Welcome to Ravensdale Bible Academy. Today's course is the Introduction to Marriage, and today's lesson is Do Nothing from Selfishness. Now, we get this concept from Philippians chapter 1, verses 20 through 21, which states this: Do nothing from selfishness or with empty conceit, but with humility of mind regard others as more important than yourself. So when we think about that in life, that's just a good verse to anchor in on all your relationships, but in particular in marriage. So in marriage, you're looking for somebody who's selfless. In marriage, you're trying to train yourself to be a selfless, unselfish person. See, this is one of our absolute foundational verses for marriage. If you can master the art of doing nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind regarding the other as more important than yourself, then I promise, I guarantee you will have an amazing marriage. But here's the problem. We allow the world to tell us differently. We're allowing the world to set a different tone and a different plan. And it begins with this: make yourself happy. It begins with this: do what makes you satisfied. And that's all wrong. It's the reverse of what the Lord God Almighty has intended for us. In fact, in Philippians chapter 1, verse 20, the model for this selflessness is Christ himself. See, we're to be like Christ, who, although he was the Son of God and existed in the form of man, he emptied himself. He sacrificed himself for us, for others, by dying on the cross and paying that price for sin. That's the model for Ephesians 5 that says husbands are to love their wives, or to lead their wives as Christ does the church. How? By selflessly dying for the church. And so when we look at this idea of being selfless, we want to break it down into kind of 5 parts from the verse. The first one is do nothing from selfishness. Do not do anything selfishly. I need my me time. I need my space. I want to do what I want to do. Just listen to those words coming out of my mouth and then tie that into a relationship. If your goal when you wake up in the morning is to please and satisfy yourself, well, what about the other people around you? So you're called to do nothing selfishly, even if it's something you like. Think about the other person. You want to take your wife to a ball game. Maybe she doesn't care about the sport, but she's going to care about the food. She's going to care about, maybe getting the pom-poms or a shirt. And so don't do it from a selfish standpoint. Think of others. When you're living life and it's taking out the trash or washing the dishes or leaving the toothpaste out, don't be selfish. Think of the other person. Well, how do we do this? Well, empty conceit. See, we are prideful people. We think we're the only person on earth. We think we're the only person in the house or the most important person. And so don't be selfish. Don't live with this idea of this you're so conceited, right? Which, by the way, it's an empty conceit. Who do you think you are? If you think you're going to treat this relationship as though you're special and the other person doesn't matter, you're going to be in a failed relationship. Because it's an empty conceit. It's a shallow pride. So you're to have, the third point is a humility of mind. You're supposed to humble yourself, swallow your pride, say you're wrong, be the peacemaker, wash the dishes, take out the trash, get on your hands and knees, scrub the floor, serve the other person. Have some humility. You think you're too good for that job. No, this is a team effort. Everything that takes place in the house needs to take place by the team. And so if you have this attitude, a selfless attitude, that in our fourth point is regarding others as more important than yourself, Well, now you can be unselfish. You can, you're not going to fall into the trap of empty conceit. You can display your humility of mind by regarding the other person as more important than yourself. They just came home from a hard day's at work. How can I serve you? How can I bless you? What can I do to lift your burden? See, that's not a male or female role. That's both sides that can look to the other and say, how can I regard you as being more important than myself? And so you defer. You prefer the other person above your needs, your wants, your selfish, prideful desires. And again, our fifth point is, where do we get this attitude? Where do we get this idea? We're supposed to have the attitude like Christ. The scriptures say, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. How do we follow Christ? By living unselfishly. Again, we've been trained by pop culture that everything we do is supposed to be for ourselves, that we're supposed to live by the postmodern way, personal peace, affluency, me, more. But I promise you, if you want a successful marriage, do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard others as more important than yourself.